So, Abby, such a pleasure to speak with you. I really enjoyed the movie, and one thing I really liked about it is there's such a mystery to all the characters, and you really doubt if they're being honest. What did you find most fascinating about that aspect that, the crowd is going to be very curious and untrustworthy towards your character while you're acting?
Yeah, well, I think what I found interesting is that I had to find the balance between my character's feelings and then myself reading the script, because I think I would be a person in the audience thinking that these people are crazy. And if this were me in this situation, I would definitely, I think my gut instinct would be to believe that these people are crazy and that we have to get them out of the house. So it was interesting to find truth for the character and to not write her off as crazy or these four horsemen, and to really find a truth and a reality in their situation and what they're saying and what they are believing. Because it is, you don't really know as an audience what is happening and who to believe. So yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, and there's so many heavy themes throughout the movie, and Knock at the Cabin, I've just continued to think about it ever since I first saw it. So, what about the script really sold you on this project and made you want to come on board?
Well, I had wanted to work with Knight for a long time. I'd been a fan of his for many years. So that was initially, even before I got the script, I just got a character description and the audition sides. And that's really all I had to go off of. And my audition was my final scene, like that long monologue about right before I die. So I knew it was going to be really intense. And in the audition, the email just said, I think it said more intensity will be required of this character. So already there was a vagueness about it, but I just kind of knew that I would be so lucky and to play this role, and that the fact that she's a young mom and it's a horror film, like there were so many elements to me that are new to me and that I haven't done. So that was also really exciting. And so many of the actors too, I'm huge fans of. And I feel like it was as I started to hear more about who was going to be in the cast and who was a part of this, it felt like I was going to be so upset if I was not in it. So yeah, it was many things.
Yeah, talk me through filming that death scene because, like you said, they are so intense, and there's this heaviness that your characters, all of the intruders, they kind of know what their end is going to meeting, and they're doing this anyhow because this is how they're going to try to save the world. So, can you speak to filming that death scene because all of them are just crazy to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I think at least for my character, I think she's the youngest of the four of them, and I think still has some. She's naive a bit, even though she has had to mature at an early age and is now on this mission. And I think I just kept feeling like my character is wanting to postpone these feelings for as long as possible. So even the morning that she knows she's going to die, unless they make these choices, or this choice, she is cooking breakfast and trying to have a conversation with Wen. And you wouldn't really know what's about to happen in 10 minutes based on her behavior. So that was really kind of fun to play because it was this person kind of totally in denial up until the last minute because she's up until she has to plead for her life, and to not die. So it was really like this slow burn, and then she just erupts because there's no time left, and she just has to get everything out that she's wanted to say to these people in order to survive.
Yeah, no, the cast is phenomenal, and I thought this was such an interesting way to see Dave Bautista's range as a performer. How was it seeing him as this soft-spoken, very emotional character? And that's not really the roles we have typically seen of him, and he's very much up to the task here.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because that's kind of how I know him now. You know, when I first met him, he he really is very gentle and kind and soft spoken, especially when you first meet him. So I was kind of like the first night I met him, we were having dinner at Knight's house, and I was sitting next to him, and for 30 minutes we talked about veganism and how we both don't eat meat. So it was this really bizarre whatever preconceived notion I had of him and how nervous I was to meet him. It was just totally not what I expected. And yeah, to see him play this character too, he was very much the guiding force for the four horsemen. I think our characters look up to him and are looking to him for guidance. And then as actors too, we were very much looking to him in many scenes for to set the tone, and we were following his lead. And he, yeah, he's just very kind and like sweet. So I feel lucky that he was at the head of this movie for us.
And then this movie just does so much with very little, and there's only one real central location, the cabin. How was it filming, a full-length feature in, it's not a big mansion, it's a nice cabin, but how was it just, being in that one location for the entire film?
Um, it was, well, I think because it was built on a stage, that also added this element and made it feel even more surreal than it would be to just film in a cabin in the middle of the woods. We would walk outside of the cabin, and it was just, this uh, industrial building that we're walking out to, and we're dodging lights, and then it was this really bizarre Truman Show-esque feeling for like 5 weeks when we would leave set. But it was really nice because at the end, the scenes outside at the beginning of the film when we're walking through the woods, that was what we ended with. So it kind of felt like really nice to be outside, and it felt like we were leaving the cabin and breathing fresh air for the first time in like 5 weeks. So it was cool to end in nature and outside, and it felt like a big sigh of relief for everyone, I think.
And then you mentioned wanting to work with Knight for so long. What really stood out as him as a director? I think it's been really great that we've seen him get more appreciation lately. It kind of seems like he was kind of taken for granted for a while, but he's getting his flowers, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'd been a fan of his. I have two older brothers, and they definitely introduced me to those movies and influenced me in my taste. And he was always someone that I admired, and I just enjoyed his work. And then I was auditioning for him at a young age, or like 13, when I first started acting professionally. I auditioned for him a few times, so he was always on my radar, and was always this. I always had hope that I would work with him and that a project would work out. And I was always so excited when I would see his name in an email that he's making another movie or a TV show. So, and I think the movie that stands out to me, the moment I rewatched it right before filming, is The Village, and also Signs, but really The Village, I feel like perfectly encapsulates what he does best, which is like he's able to add humanity and humor, and then also horror. And I think to me that movie like just reminds me why I love his work and admire his filmmaking.